The Wolverine, America's reluctant tank destroyer with a vicious bite. In the murky arena of armored warfare, where metal giants clash and the ground trembles beneath their fury, the M10 Wolverine carved out a strange, often controversial role. It wasn't designed to win stylish duels or bask in glory. With light armor and little in the way of sophisticated tech, it was a purpose-built killer, a tank destroyer. And while its beginnings were humble and its place in military thinking uncertain, it proved brutally effective at the task it was made for. Some hailed the Wolverine as an unlikely hero. Others saw it as a risky gamble. But either way, this hard-edged warrior earned its place in the chronicles of World War II with explosive impact. Doctrine before design: how the tank destroyer was born. Before the M10 even hit the battlefield, a radical idea shaped its creation. In the early World War II years, U.S. military leaders, shaken by the blitzkrieg tactics of Nazi Germany, worried about massive enemy tank assaults. Their answer wasn't to build tougher tanks, but to develop fast, heavily armed vehicles designed to solely hunt them down. Tank destroyers, as they came to be known, would rely on agility and firepower rather than heavy armor. They weren't supposed to trade blows with enemy tanks like boxers in the ring. Instead, they would strike fast and vanish, more like agile middleweights than lumbering heavyweights. This vision led to the formation of the Tank Destroyer Command, and with it, the search for a weapon to match this new doctrine. Enter the M10. Building the beast, turning the Sherman into a killer. The M10 didn't start from scratch. It was built on the proven foundation of the M4 Sherman tank. But where the Sherman was versatile and dependable, the M10 was single-minded. Its standout feature was its 3-inch 76.2mm gun, the most powerful tank gun in the American arsenal when it appeared in 1942. What really set the M10 apart, though, was its unusual turret, a wide, flat, open-topped structure that looked almost unfinished. This design gave crews better visibility and quicker reactions, but also left them dangerously vulnerable to everything from shrapnel and snipers and the elements. Its armor, thin and angled, just enough to stop small arms fire. The idea was that its speed would keep it alive. In reality, many crews learned quickly that mobility didn't stop incoming shells. Still, the M10 had its advantages. Its diesel engine and relatively low profile allowed it to move fast and set up devastating ambushes, perfect for the lightning hit tactics envisioned by its creators. First blood, North Africa and beyond. The Wolverine first proved itself in combat in North Africa in 1943. In the sun-baked battlefields of Tunisia, it took on German Panzer III and IV tanks, and it showed it could bite hard. From defensive positions, M10s destroyed enemy armor with surprising ease. In that theater, the open turret was less of a problem, and crews praised the gun's knockout power. But as the war ground on into Italy, Normandy, and the Ardennes, the M10's weaknesses became clear. The newer German tanks, especially the Panther and Tiger, could outshoot and outlast the Wolverine. What had once been ambushes turned into brutal tank duels, and in those fights the M10 often came out worse. Even so, American crews adapted. In the tight green hedgerows of Normandy and the snow-covered forests of the Battle of the Bulge, they used shadow and surprise to their advantage. Despite its flaws, the M10 continued to make its mark. More than just America's weapon, the Wolverine wasn't only an American tool. It became a workhorse for the Allies. The British and Free French used it extensively, often swapping out the gun for their own powerful 17-pounder to create the Achilles variant. This version could take out a Panther tank head-on, something the standard Sherman couldn't manage. The Soviet Union also received M10s through the Lend-Lease program. While they preferred their homegrown designs, they still respected the Wolverine's punch and practical use in tank-killing missions on the Eastern Front. Strengths, shortcomings, and the realities of war. Let's be clear, the M10 wasn't perfect. It was loud, its turret rotated slowly by hand, and it was dangerously exposed from above. German infantry soon figured out that a well-aimed grenade could end an M10's day quickly. But it had something that couldn't be measured on blueprints: grit. Crews added sandbags, welded on extra steel, and even tied logs to the sides to boost protection. They adjusted, innovated, and survived. And that gun? It could still tear through armor late into the war, especially when fired from ambush or in coordinated groups. Most importantly, the M10 filled a gap. It gave American forces a functional tank destroyer until more advanced vehicles like the M18 Hellcat and M36 Jackson came along. It wasn't perfect, but it was ready when it mattered most. Legacy, not in the spotlight, but not forgotten. Today, the M10 Wolverine isn't as famous as the Sherman or as feared as the Panther. It's a bit of a hybrid, part tank, part artillery piece, and that made it easy to overlook. But when war demanded results, the Wolverine delivered. It destroyed tanks and protected soldiers. Its origins may have been based on shaky doctrine, but its success came from hard-nosed adaptation and American tenacity. In the end, that was enough to secure its place in history. In conclusion, it was the hunter that lurked in the shadows. The M10 wasn't meant to lead the charge. It wasn't built for looks or invincibility. It was a shadowy hunter, a tool made for a harsh job. While other tanks take the spotlight, the Wolverine deserves recognition as an underestimated, under-armored, overperforming machine that clawed its way into wartime legend. In World War II, the best tank wasn't always the one with the biggest gun or thickest armor. Sometimes it was the one in the right place at the right time, doing the right job. And in that brutal equation, the Wolverine fit perfectly.